Hi, my name's
Oh,
Shawn Taylor. That guy down there doing the wardrobe change is Chris Ford, aka the
I know.
Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter. Welcome to Avatar: The Last Podcasters. Had a few weeks of one-offs and things, but now we're back into the story, where we are on Book 4 Balance, Chapter 9, Beyond the Wilds. Chris, before we jump in, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
I'm doing the same I was doing 3 weeks ago. But for some reason, I thought the title to this episode was Beyond the Wall. And I was like, this is a terrible title to the
Did
episode.
I get it
Like,
right? Is
no, you got it right. You
Okay.
got it absolutely right.
Oh, I did something
Um,
awesome.
but I was thinking about stuff like, there's no real wall to this in this episode.
There's barely a
Like,
metaphorical wall in this episode.
yeah, barely a metaphorical. I guess Korra has to get through I wouldn't call it a wall, more like a barrier.
It would be a pretty
But
boring metaphor if we're being honest.
yeah. But Beyond the Wilds makes more sense.
Chris, yeah, before the show started, you told me to remind you to say, all you said was, "May the force be with you." And that was my pre show
Yeah.
notes. So I'd just like to say, and also with
Good.
you.
All right, so I had a thought like a couple of weeks ago, right, about the phrase "May the force be with you." In Star Trek, it's a greeting, it's a goodbye. I'm sorry, not Star Trek.
I
In
thought you were
Star
talking
Wars,
shit there for a second. I was like, what do you.
I'm about to say, in Star Wars, it's a greeting, it's a goodbye. In Star Trek, their equivalent quote is "Live long and prosper." Like that's a equivalent quote. At least maybe only Spock says it, but I feel like I've heard it enough that that's a greeting that Star Trek fans have with another. There's another
Excuse me.
thing that another property also has it. I was curious, like, what would the world of Avatar, what would their greeting or goodbye be to be like general good sentiments? So I was just thinking about it, wanted to maybe workshop a few things. Um, I think possibly one could be uh, let Ravla's light guide you, maybe something like that. You know, it has to
Ooh,
be somewhat short.
that's
Um,
catchy.
yeah.
Instead of
The
Godspeed, it's Rava speed.
yeah.
That's more of
And the
a
reason I say
that's more
like
of a goodbye than a hello.
yeah, uh, like I think the wording is good because like let means that like Ravla's light will always guide you, but you got to let it in, like and stuff like that.
That's deep.
Um,
I like that.
yeah,
Let me think
because she
here.
is the spirit of I can't think of her official title. Spirit of balance and uh, spirit of balance and goodiness. No, it's not her. It's not her official
I,
title. Why can't I think of harmony? Balance and harmony. I think that's yeah.
maybe that by itself, like balance and harmony. Like it needs something else. It needs like a verb,
Harm,
but
yeah. Harmony onto you. Harmony with may harmony be with you. Harmony. Now the only thing I got
harmony
against
got too
may
many
Rava's like
syllables,
guide
didn't it?
you is that Rava is not even a concept known to people and for like thousands of years apparently, or at least hundreds of years, because her course past lives that she reached back to, really didn't know up to Quirk. He's the only one that actually said her name. So that's the only thing. I mean, they could start it in Korra's time, um,
That's fair.
or that
Or
could be a thing that people just say and they don't know why they say it. They're like, "What the heck is Rob?" Like, I don't know. It's just a saying people say to each other.
I was gonna
You
say that
know?
yeah, you could pick like like an older Avatar or something like we see in the Kyoshi novels where they say praise Yang Chen or whatever it is that they
Yeah,
like. You could pick an older Avatar that is sort of colloquially known, or Avatar or Rava that's known colloquially but not specifically. And I'm thinking of the Spanish. I want to say that the phrase in certain areas of Central America is like "ojalá," and it's just like something that they picked up from the indigenous tribes there, and they
oh
sort of
yeah,
became a greeting, and it was sort of mistranslated, but like they still knew the idea that it was like
mm,
a prayer to God of
yeah,
some type. So yeah, I think it could be justified to say, "Let Rava's spirit guide you," or "Let
yeah.
May
Rava's light is what was
Rava's
my,
light." Yeah,
but
that sounds better.
yeah.
Let me
Yeah, because
think.
light being a metaphor of you're guided by like some type of otherworldly light. Anyway,
So you're saying it's
Uh,
not going to be "Long live President Ryko"? Is that not the greeting?
no, no, just it'll be the opposite. F President Ryko, F President Ryko to
Oh
you,
yes,
and
it binds people that otherwise would hate each, like non-benders and benders alike.
yeah.
Oh, F President Ray, yeah, I know you. I hear you, man.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the world of Avatar needs something because that's always cool when you hear it in Star Wars, like "May the Force be with you." It's a great freaking saying, and I
It
mean, and I wouldn't be able to duplicate that iconicness of it, but I just want something similar to like that in the Avatar universe.
it almost needs like a hand motion too. Like that's the best part of the Star Trek is you
Ooh,
recognize the
yes,
hand
yeah,
the
that's good
as
too.
much as the phrase itself. But I can't think of what it would
Uh,
be.
just a peace sign.
I'm okay with that, or like a very basic bending motion of some type. You know, whatever. I don't know. Needs a hand
What would a
signal with
peace
it though.
sign be? And I feel like I'm doing sign language now, which I'm not. Um,
What if you're saying something offensive in sign language? You don't even know it.
it's true. Sorry,
People probably don't listen, don't watch our
they,
podcasts for the. Do we do closed captioning? Do I set
sorry.
up closed captions? Oh, I don't know.
I can. People can. And it can. I believe it looks automatically, but it can butcher what you're saying.
That's believable, and I mumble a lot. But no, I agree. Avatar needs some kind of
Yeah. What would it be?
folksy welcome phrase. I want it to be really like Hawaiians got it right with aloha. It's like we got three syllables. It means just
Mm.
everything. Just so maybe it's just Rava, and you make a kite with your hand. It's Rava. What's up,
Bravo.
Rava?
Don't go too far. Don't extend and lock up the elbow.
No, no, you get still
That's not
bent.
cool.
Yeah. What does
Yeah,
Barrett call
gotta.
Rava and Vatu? That the world's most evilest kite or whatever?
Yeah.
I forget what he calls it.
Mm.
No, I'm on
Yeah, it's
board.
hard to
Sign me
do it.
up for Avatar Universe welcome me hand signal.
It's hand signal's hard. The thing is,
Because
I
everything
feel
feels silly if it's not already like
like I
everything feels
remember,
good.
Hunger Games had this, which was really good.
Yeah, simple clean.
Yeah, Star Trek has this. Star Wars doesn't have anything. I don't know, but I don't know.
I just want
I
it to
don't
look
know
like
a
a
good
kite, and
hands.
I just want people to be like, Rava's
Just a thumbs
blessings or
up.
whatever. Just thumbs up. Rava's blessings, man.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Just fist bump. You just Rava's blessings. Rava's blessings. Okay, cool. Rava's light. No, you're right. I like light
Yeah.
better. Rava's light.
Yeah. Maybe open palm, which represents or actually probably just a bow, honestly. It'll probably just be a bow.
But what I like about the open palm, though, it like
It
with this
it
fingers
somewhat
spread, is it
represents
feels like you're spreading, like you know the
yeah, and it somewhat represents right because a fist would be force. It
yeah.
somewhat represents the opposite
Mhm.
of that. Maybe I
No,
don't
I
know.
like the open palm a lot actually, but like the intentionally spread, like not a lazy wave, but like an open, like
Yeah.
it's got like the
Maybe two
reverence.
open palms, maybe two open palms coming together. That's like maybe meaning of like two people coming to two ideas, two people coming together.
I can dig that. Yeah, so just let
Maybe Rob's
Rava's
like
light
guide you.
guide you. I'm turning it
Yeah,
into
let
slang
Rob's
though.
guide.
I'm not gonna say that every time, man. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna
That's it's
Rava's light.
wait, let Rava's light guide you. Okay. May the force be with you. Six syllables. Let me drop down. It says may let Rava's. I guess just let Rava guide you. But then I can get
Okay.
light in there. Let Rava's light guide you. Yeah, may the force be with you. It's exactly the same number of syllables. But
I just want a slang term for it. That's all.
the thing is, may the force be with you isn't something you say in passing. It's
That's
something you
fair.
say. Something you say like, all right, I'm about to end this speech.
It's to cut off a
May the
Midwestern
force be with
goodbye.
you.
That's when you say, "May the force be with you." When Mom has said more phrases on the phone and it's time to go.
Yeah. All right, but that was it. I was just workshopping a few different
Let's try it out at
things.
con next week. Con
Yeah.
next week we'll try it out. We'll just be
Yeah.
like, let Rava's light
May
guide you.
Robert
Like
Slight guide you. let or may let
Let. I
let.
think let sounds
Yes.
better. Let sounds like the
Yeah.
choice is on you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Open yourself.
Let's see if we can spread this. Let Rob's like, got you. Although I'll be dressed as a mon, so I won't
No, you don't
be.
say that. I'll say that. Chris, I want to make one
Yeah.
more
Okay.
amendment. Instead of the hands coming together, wait, no, you're right. Coming together is better. Never mind. I retract my statement. Let Rob was like, guide you. I'm done.
And you. And that's. Okay. I think that's what I was thinking of. Because then, not to make any light of real life uh, religions, but I'm just like them, and then they say Salagam Salam. I think. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Anybody, complete apologies if I'm butchering.
Yeah, not our strong suit,
Uh,
but no, it's familiar enough that I know that you're on the right track and your heart's in the right
yeah.
place. I just keep
And so
thinking
like
of
the yeah, and so the rebuttal, if someone did want to rebuttal you, not rebuttal, but response, be like, and let it guide you.
it's,
Yeah. But
let Vatu's darkness overtake your soul. Thank
yeah.
you. The now I keep
May
thinking,
Vatu's darkness encapsulate your soul and lead you down a dark path that you may never come out of. Like,
and I
whoa,
hope your
what
kids
the
never
heck? This
learn to
person just
read.
cursed me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have beautiful sons. And I hope they're
Beautiful
gifted and
sons.
talented. And then the legs get taken from. Don't you do that, Ricky Bobby. Don't you do that. Okay, we're doing tough love here. Yeah, he's always crying. All
That this is going way too
right, wake
deep.
up, idiot. You're not crippled. I am paralyzed.
This is going too
You're
far
not
down this rabbit
paralyzed.
hole. But first
I'm
of
gonna stick
all,
this knife in my leg. Don't do it. Don't do it, Ricky Bobby. Ah!
first of all, that is my favorite Will Ferrell movie, and
Oh,
it's
mine's
close.
too.
It's my favorite. Second of all, it was on when I was getting my hair cut. Third thing you need to know is that I've never had this done before. This is not a common occurrence, but I did like the extra haircut plus I got like my hands like what do they call it? Like some kind of wax. Like it's supposed to be good for your hands and arthritis and stuff. I did self care, Chris. I did the whole thing. I got a shoulder rub, a face towel. I did it, and I'm not gonna lie to
Oh,
you, I
okay.
liked it. It was too expensive though. But long story short, they did the wax on my hands, and then I go back to my chair. This movie, Talladega Nights, is on in the lobby. Like I can hear it. I heard it when I came in. As soon as I came in, and it's on the lobby. But I'm unintentionally sitting here with my hands like this because I didn't know what to do with them. And she's like, "Are you acting like Ricky Bobby right now?" I was like, "No, I actually don't. Like, could I? What do I do with
So
these?"
what I do, man.
I literally didn't know. It turns out you just sit them on the chair like a normal person. I thought it would be like waxy or something, but
Yeah.
it was hard. Like it was hardened, so it wasn't gonna. But no, I was sitting there like this. Like this movie is right out there. This is happening. This is a great movie. All
All
right,
right.
sorry, that was a huge
That,
tangent. That was unintentional, but
that was good. It was very Avatar related. I'm sure
uh,
people appreciate that.
if you don't like Talladega Nights and Avatar, like, do you even watch TV? Anyway, let's talk about Beyond the Wilds, which eventually,
Beyond the
there we go.
Wilds. Okay. So we do start off with I forgot his name, the Napoleon Dynamite guy. As Ryu, he
Ryu.
comes back. Yeah, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Um, and he does the whole Napoleon Dynamite thing again, which is I find hilarious. I love this character. And his mom is there, like talking him up. I love it.
She's bothering him while he's at work.
Yeah. Gosh, mom. Just,
And then dad's being like just doing
uh,
Midwestern dad things. Like, I'm just glad he's got a
yeah,
job.
yeah, exactly. Um, he's taking a group of tourists out to see the spirit wilds, and they get captured by the spirits. Because Kuvira is harvesting the spirit vines in the swamp, and the swamp is reacting badly to it, just kind of acting out, being a rebellious team. That's understandable. Oh man, I hope that my kids never go through any type. I don't think they will. I didn't really go through any type of rebellious acting out
Chris, I think we were in
stage.
the minority of kids not going through rebellious stages. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
dash your hopes, but
and I hope that we'll still all do stuff together. And I mean, I guess I sort of. I mean, there was points in my life where I was like, oh, I don't want to be seen out in public with my
yeah.
mom. But
Yeah.
I would still go to the mall with her all the time. I remember one time seeing a friend from school because this friend, his mom, was friends with my mom, and she talked to him. The thing is, he wasn't like a close friend of mine. He just like I talked to him a couple of times. I'm just like, why are we here? Like, can we just go? Like, I don't like this. But I had a lot of great times with my mom during that time frame because like two of my sisters were in college. Actually, I think they were all in college at that point, at least, or moved out, and so it's like just me and my mom.
it's
And
it's different in a small town. Like you're not ashamed because everybody knows your mom's. Like even if my
yeah,
mom is a quirky lady, it's like everybody knows that my mom is a quirky lady. So there's like
yeah,
less of that sort of peer pressury feeling. So I was more embarrassed to be seen with like my siblings because you know you got your friends would be like, man, your brother's a dick, and I'd be like, yeah, I know.
yeah. But me and my mom was having like a great time because my dad would always give us $20 for dinner. But it didn't matter if there was like four of us in the household or two. It was always $20. So when it got down to just me and my
Right,
mom,
that's
like, oh, we
good.
got $20. We're going out. Like we're going to an actual restaurant. I just got to spend like maybe an extra $5, and we can get some really good food.
Like we can actually
So
sit down somewhere.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
See you later,
Beyond the
sisters.
Wilds. Okay, so Team Avatar somewhat reunites. I mentioned this in our previous episode. Okay, so anyway, Korra realizes what's going on. Well, she doesn't realize what's going on. Her Janora is has been captured by the spirit vines, and she immediately thinks quickly, and she communicates to Korra that she's been taken. And Korra's like, "Oh, I gotta go find her." So she goes there, and Korra taps into spirit vines and realizes that Kuvira is harvesting the vines from the swamp. So then Korra goes to city council to talk this over to try and get them to take a more active approach against Kuvira. And they're already in there having a meeting. And Prince Wu is there, Fire Lord Izumi is there, President Raiko, and Tenzin is there. Of course, like one thing, Prince Wu is like, "Oh, Korra's here. I just want you to know that I told President Raiko that it would be a good idea if you were here, but he didn't agree with me." And it's just and like it's just rubbing. And Korra's also like, "Why is he here, but I'm not here?" Even though it's funny, she's like ridiculing him, even though he somewhat went to bat for her.
Yeah, I mean, I see both
But
sides. It's kind of
yeah,
embarrassing,
exactly.
but
It's
yeah,
like
Chris, she's the princess of the world. Okay.
that's true. She's the princess of the world.
uh,
And Tenzin is like, maybe we called you back too soon. And then she's like, but still, him, like, I'm still like way more like it's just a shot at her ego and probably her emotions, and it's not a great look. But she, and then President Racco's like, "What? It's a quarrel. People just can't keep barging in here. This is an official meeting." And then right then, Bolin and Varric comes in, and that's
which
pretty
so
good.
appropriate that they're the last two to like it feels right.
Yeah. And then they try to arrest them, but then they're like, "We got secret information," and they sorry that Kuvira is building a big giant weapon. So we didn't talk about this really. We didn't focus on it. The Yang Chen novel, they mentioned having a weapon of destruction, a
Yeah,
weapon of
we
mass
we
destruction.
read the words and then we never touched on it again. What is good job, us? What does a weapon of
What
mass
the?
destruction 5 avatars ago look like?
Yeah, like in the technology during Yang Chen's time. I mean, if Korra is about 1920s, Aang is about 1850s, probably. I mean, there's no guns or anything. Probably actually 18. Actually, I mean, there's no guns. Anyway, I don't think there'll ever be guns in the Avatar universe, so maybe that's irrelevant. Um, but Yang Chen would be
So
about
think less about the guns, think more about like the Fire Nation sort of war machines and stuff. So I'm thinking that's like
yeah,
late 1800s maybe.
Yang Chen's time.
No,
I think Yang.
Aang's
Oh,
late
yeah, yeah, yeah.
18s.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, so Yang Chen's time would be like 1400.
It's a
I
big
mean,
jump.
yeah.
So weapon of mass
Like
destruction is like somebody got the plague
there's
on accident, you know?
yeah. I mean, there's no tech. Maybe some type of. Although that might be hit too close to home during
Yeah,
this.
that's not a good FC. Please don't do weapon of mass destruction. Hey, we talked about the spirit world. Maybe it's like precursor to this, and talking about this episode, something spirit world related.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm really curious what that weapons of mass destruction
Yeah.
is
Well, now I'm embarrassed that we didn't
during it.
talk about it more in that episode.
And I still haven't thought of the one thing that I was thinking. I don't think I'll ever remember it. It's
It'll
gone. It's
now it'll come
lost.
when you're like laying down, you're like half asleep.
Yeah, and I'll text it to you like
I gotta call
two
Shawn.
o'clock in the morning.
I'll still be awake
Anyway,
thinking about Batman actors.
yeah. Shawn, you up? You know I am thinking about Batman
Thinking about
actors.
Batman.
All right, I finally
Am I too hard
remembered.
on Christian Bale? Shawn, shut up. I thought of my thing.
And yes, you are too hard on Christian Bale. Um,
They're all four good. How are you supposed to put them in an order?
uh, yeah, I was about to go off another tangent. No, I'm not gonna do it. I can't help it. Christian Bale's performance and that begins in the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. I think it's so good. It's so freaking good.
It's
Like
it's the overexertion into the voice. Like he has to try so hard. And then also the screamy Batman itself, like the actual yelling that he does as Batman, that doesn't do it. I don't feel like Batman would have to yell at you, really. I think Batman would just look at you and be like, where are the rest of the drugs? Like, he wouldn't have to yell at you for you to be scared of shit, you know? But we're talking about, you have to nitpick because I like them all. Even Michael Keaton, who
yeah,
I don't like, I still like Michael Keaton.
yeah. Okay. Beyond the Wilds. So Korra. Anyway, they had this whole conversation, and Fire Lord Zumi is like, listen, the Fire Nation, we can't be going to war with people like for unjust reasons that we can't prove. We've done a lot of that. Our PR team has been working really hard the last 80 years or whatever, and this ain't gonna help anything. Um, they all agree to pretty much just if Kuvira does something that adds up, then financial help, but she'll also help reassure their borders. And that kind of ends the meeting. Bolin um, and Chorus like, I think I can, save her, save Janora. It's interesting because Tenzin isn't like this might just be bad writing. Tenzin isn't as worried about Janora this time around. Actually, he shouldn't be because I don't think he should be because he
They've
I know
developed
she's fine.
enough trust in one another over the years that I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and also I don't think any of them think that their bodies are at risk or anything. I think they're just kind of been holding. I don't. As another kind of part of this story that wasn't really explained of like why is the spirit vines? I understand why they'll be attacking out and stuff, but why would they be like holding these bodies hostage? One reason I can think of, but just the fact that I gotta think of a reasoning behind it is somewhat troublesome, is that like the spirit vines need to make up the spirit energy they're leaving by maybe zapping it from or harvesting it from other
You took that real dark.
resources.
That became like Avatar, like a horror movie spin-off right
Uh,
there. I kind of
ooh,
like it.
yeah. They didn't really explain why it was taking hostages. I understood why it was attacking just wildly at things, but I'll just go with it.
I'll bite, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, so they agree to plan, and Bolin apologizes profusely, and then they all do a nice little hug and stuff. And one thing I like how Bolin is like after he gives them explaining, and they kind of forgive him, he's like, "I want a hug." For some reason, I found that really funny.
That's me
And
to my
again, I
wife
mentioned,
after any conversation. I'm going to say difficult conversation, but not even difficult, like, not like couples difficult, but just like, I
yeah,
had a long day at work today because something happened. I need a hug. And so
It's
when
funny.
Bowen says that every time, I'm like, me too, buddy.
Bill Lawrence, who is the creator and showrunner of Scrubs, he's showrunner of Ted Lasso, all of this stuff. On the Scrubs podcast, his wife is Kristen Miller, who is Jordan on Scrubs.
Oh,
Um,
no kidding.
and yeah, it's just one thing they're always make fun of. Like they're all Zach Braff and Donald Faison. It's like Bill. I think Bill gets off on having his wife like kiss other guys and make out because like because Zach Braff was like because in the first season he has sex with Jordan and kisses her and then he like this is the first season he's like I'm about to kiss my boss's wife. He was like, "This is weird. Like, should I be like too turned on about it,
What if you get too
or
into it
like
on
what?"
accident on camera and
Yeah.
everybody's watching you? That's messed up.
And then he said afterwards, Bill went up to him and was like, "Hey, how was it?" And Zach is like, what?" I
I feel like that's
don't
the
know why I'm
sign of
talking about this. Oh, wait.
a great comedy writer. That's what they would do. They'd go up afterwards and be like, "How was it?"
Yeah. You
Comedic
see how much tongue that
genius.
she is. I forgot why I was bringing up Bill
I
Lawrence.
don't
There
remember.
was
We
a
were talking
reason.
about hugging
Uh,
Bullion. It's
yeah, yeah, okay.
because
Bill
it's
Lawrence.
late.
So yes. So Bill Lawrence is like sometimes Krista, who is plays Jordan. Sometimes she'll be just like cleaning. I'll be like, break hug, and he'll just like make her stop what she's doing, give him a hug, and she'll be like, no, I don't want to hug you right now. I'm busy. Nope, break hug, and then you know. So that's what reminded me of it. Bring it back to bowling.
that's
Anyway,
beautiful, really.
so I mentioned in our previous episode that Asami was really needed in this moment. Like this feels like Team Avatar is really back and combined with a hug. I would have really enjoyed that of it. Like they don't have enough Team Avatar moments of them four because they are the crux of Team Avatar. But I would have liked it if all four of them was in that scene.
It felt like a good opportunity. Like I'm curious as to why it didn't get to happen.
Yeah, like I mean, I get that maybe Asami wouldn't have had that much dialogue to add to it, but still,
No, I'm with you.
um,
Missed
yeah,
opportunity at least.
yep. So Team Avatar reunites. Of course, like, all right, I'm gonna try. Her and Mako go to the spirit wilds, and they fight spirits and stuff. That's probably the most action in this episode, which is pretty decent. It's not bad. Um, but of course, like, she tries to tap into the spirit world. She can't. She just sees hallucinations of her and her battle with Zahir. She's like, I can't do it. Like, she's blaming Zahir. She's like, I gotta face him. So, uh, Tenzin begrudgingly lets her go see Zahir. And also at one point, Korra's like, "So you lost faith in me too?" Like, there's a this really good continued story, I think, of Korra dealing with people losing faith in her and her abilities, which is really interesting because she gets to. So also in this little rewrite, um, Asami and Mako takes her to go see Zahir because that's would go along well. Because in my rewrite,
Excuse me.
Asami would have been with her and trying to help her out, and she would definitely be with her in this case. So anyway, Korra goes to Caesar here, and she's like, "I just came here to tell you that I'm not afraid of you." And one thing I love the imagery of Zahir chained up and floating in the air. Like it's those two things are just so contradictory to each other that it makes for a really great visual.
It's like he's proving his point. It's like, listen, this earthly tether is not tight enough.
Yeah, honestly, if I was them, I'm like, no, let's not give him any leeway.
Yeah, it feels like a bad.
Just
That feels like the beginning of an escape story. They should know better.
yeah, and honestly, I think Zahir will escape one day. Um,
Interesting.
and they have a pretty good dialogue back and forth. Korra's like, I used to be unbreakable. Like people used to think I was undefeatable. Then you you broke me. Like I think this is really interesting of like a victim confronting their abuser to a certain extent. And I've talked about this before with like Zuko confronting his dad, and other movies that I love, like uh, Finding Fisher or just Antoine Fisher. Um, I like seeing people confront their abusers. This case is different than that because here is more just like talking to her. And at one point, Zahir's like, "Wait, I know why you're here. Like you haven't been able to meditate into the spirit world." She's like, "You can go to the spirit world?" I was like, "Yeah, I go there very often." Um, and she's like, "This place doesn't look that spirity to be able to go there." He's like, "Well," he pretty much tells her like, "You're not that good at it."
Bitch,
That's what it says.
please.
Like you bind yourself to pretty much the things around you. Like you need to, I don't know, enlighten yourself a little bit more. And eventually he's like Korra is like, you talked all about chaos and stuff, but your uprising and revolution led to the most dictatorial person in the history of the Earth Kingdom. And then you see his face turn, you see his eyes go down. They're just like, oh yeah, I effed up. Like my plan did not go, things did not go according to my plan. This is the opposite of what I wanted. And then he's like, let me help you. Let me guide you into the spirit world. And they do. And I just love the visual of him like lifting up and then crossing his legs, and then um, Cora, sitting on the floor. It's also interesting visual of like of her somewhat humbling herself. Like he's way up here, she's down there. Um, I've been thinking a lot about humility in my leadership program, and I was writing this whole journal entry today about humility because we got to keep a journal about something. And
Interesting.
I was thinking a lot about humility and how it's often has a negative connotation that really shouldn't be. Like we should allow ourselves the freedom to be humiliated because that will open us up to greater change, to trying new things. Like it's okay to be humiliated because really the definition of humiliation isn't that negative. It's just like putting away one's pride. And then I started thinking about the IRO code about pride and stuff. Anyway,
It's
that's somewhat of a tangent.
like a state of vulnerability more than
Yeah,
sort of the exaggerated way that we think of the word.
yeah. Um, and Core has to, and part of humility is knowing that you don't have the answers, but you have to go to other people for the answers. And so, really good sort of thing there. Um, so Cora is trying to go to the spirit world. Zahir's guiding her, and she falls into that trap again of reliving one of her darkest moments. And he's like, "No, you have to push through that. Keep going, keep watching." And she finally breaks through. She arrives in the spirit world, and Zahir's there, and he pretty much like, oh, one of the other favorite lines is that Zahir tells Cora that the poison should have killed her. He thinks her powers are limitless, or I think he says limitless, which is really an interesting thing for your previous main antagonist to be like, you are way more powerful than you think, sort of uplifting her. Like everyone has been just dogpiling on her for this whole season, and the previous antagonist is like, you are way more powerful than people give you credit for, than you give yourself credit for. Like you just need to work past this. Which almost makes Nick that Zahir's not ever going to break out because he knows that Korra will eventually be strong enough to uh to put him back in.
And it feels like it has an odd, like, so you trust your wife and your wife tells you something and it's like you believe it, but when it comes from her it's like no, she's supposed to say that. So then you go to
Yeah.
your greatest enemy and they say the same thing. You're like, you know what, coming from you that actually feels more credible somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of feel that, and any excuse to bring Zahir back into the picture is a win.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Love this moment. That was so powerful. So powerful Korra to come back to the spirit world and for her to reconnect with Rava. She's like, Rava, like, I found you. She's like, I've always been here. Really good stuff. Like Korra's finally moved past it. Well, actually, she didn't, which is really, really good. I think the writing in Legend of Korra is it's really good. The only cartoon that I think operates on the same level as Legend of Korra and dealing with depression and dealing with um somewhat some PTSD and just real raw genuine emotions is Young Justice. Like Young Justice has been doing that since season one. And this season they don't shy away with it at all. Like characters die, and they just don't. And you think like, oh, comic book, they'll come back in like the next seasons. Like, no, these characters are still dead, and these other characters are still dealing with it. Like, it still affects them. And Corey even says, just like, I don't think I'm over it. Like, she talks to Mako, and she's like, I don't think I'm completely over it, but I'm in a much better place. Sometimes that's all like you can. That's an achievement of itself.
That feels like a more realistic approach than like, no, I had this conversation and it unlocked this magic internal door I had that solved all
Yeah.
my. Like, no, that feels like a much more real approach to how being a human works.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so that kind of ends that part of the story. But then President Raiko then uh, gets together Asami and Varric, and then and they're both President Raiko and Asami are like somewhat questions Varric's loyalty, and then and then President Raiko's like, and then you blew up that bit. Oh no, Asami is like, yeah, you remember how you like framed Mako, took over my company, blew up the Southern Water Tribe building, and then Vega's like, I own the building. A man has a right to blow up his own property. Like, I think you don't have the right to. I mean, I don't know what the rights are like in blow up the city, but I'm
Is that
assuming
a
you don't
city
have the
ordinance,
right.
Varric, or is that a statewide kind of law? What are
Yeah.
they?
The thing is, that's something that some entitled person would say. Like, I know someone be like, hey, this is my house. I got a right to do whatever I want. If I want to shoot a gun into the back of my house, I'll do that.
The
Well,
sad part
what?
is like normal humans like you and me would be like, yeah, it's not my house, it's the bank's house. But Varric probably does own
Yeah.
that building, so maybe he has more of a
Yeah.
right to do it than we
Yeah.
would.
A man has a right to blow up his own building, his own property. And then they're like, and then you kidnap he tried to kidnap the president. It's like allegedly, just be, because you never went to court.
It is a really good.
Uh,
It's a really good set for Varric here.
yeah, yeah, really good Varric stuff.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, like we all know you did it.
Now, Varric, we watched it on TV in canon form. We know.
Yeah, that's one of the things I hate sometimes in news. Like when, like I get not calling someone a murderer because that if before court and stuff, but if a person kills a person and like you're trying to argue like whether it's I don't know, self-defense or whatever, like you can say that person killed them.
Right,
That's
he's not an
fact.
alleged killer. He's an actual killer. Now, he's
Yeah,
maybe not like a premeditated manslaughterer.
yeah. Like we still got to prove his, that person's innocence or guilt, but that is the killer. We can say that is no one's going to sue you for. I mean, they will. You should be able to win a
If somebody
lawsuit
sues you, you'd be like, no, we do know this much. That
that
is not alleged
yeah,
anymore.
that is fact. You admitted to killing that person. Now we just gotta,
Gotta
that
hash
always,
out some civil details. Sure, fine.
yeah.
That's the boring part.
Allegedly. Like, no, you.
Allegedly.
But oh, and then Bolin uh tries to get back on Opal's good side, but he doesn't because
Because when he recaps the story, it sounds really horrible.
yeah. So Sounds really bad when I say it all. And then he went a lot longer than I remembered. Um, but they're gonna start. And then Lynn comes in like, "Hey, we gotta save our family." And then Bolin's like, "All right, I'll tag along." And that is the episode.
Excellent, because I'm in danger of falling asleep.
Good.
It's late. It's late. I might not even think about Batman tonight. Might be might sleep well.
All right, my ratings. Audiovisual 7.5. It was a pretty tame episode. Honestly, there was one really like when you see Zahir's prison, even from the outside, really cool, really great visuals. Love that. But that wasn't enough to really take this to an 8 for me. Also, the little fight scenes in the vines, those are all right and good. Probably really great animation, but I don't know, they're just there. 7.5. Story. I'm giving story a 9 out of 10. I probably could see me giving it a little bit lower because I was thinking about the whole the whole podding thing before and didn't make sense. But whatever. I'm giving 9 out of 10 because the Korra stuff was just so freaking strong. Just the idea of your probably her biggest villain. I mean, he broke her. Helping her out. Such great storytelling there. Korra working through her issues, not completely getting over it, but getting to a better place. Such a strong message there. 9 out of 10. Memorable, given an 8.5 out of 10. Just the whole Zora. Zahir, oh my god, I can't with the ship name.
Don't
Gross.
don't give people ideas, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, people have ideas for like Amon and Korra and Tarlock and Korra. I'm like, what?
What is wrong with me?
Gross.
Come on.
I get the Kuvira and Korra aspect of it, but that almost seems like too
Too on the nose for like crazy ships.
almost too. This is not the right word I'm looking for.
Too much like a power
Masturbatory.
couple?
They're too much. They're too similar of characters that that I don't know. To me, they don't go together.
A
But
song
maybe
that
we'll talk about
balances
that more in the
Korra
future.
beautifully. Just let the ship happen, y'all. Let
Yeah.
that happen.
um. Anyway, the whole Korra and Zahir conversations and things, those things were really, really good and really strong and memorable. And then, of course, just the Varric line of like, a man has the right to blow up his own building or property is funny to me. So 8.5 out of 10 brings it to an 8.4 out of 10.
I feel like when I put my ratings in here, I was looking on this episode less favorably than I do now after we've discussed. I didn't not like it or anything. Audiovisual 8. The seeing the John Heater character in the Spirit Vines portion of Republic City, and
John Heater, that's his name.
there was a lot of, I don't know why it just came to me all of a sudden. There was a lot of like kind of slightly unique visuals and sounds and things. I don't know. It's fine. Story I gave a 9, and you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm still okay with it.
Yeah.
I waffled between like 8.5 and 9 for a while,
Hmm.
and ultimately I settled on 9 because I could tell we're picking up steam. Like it got me excited in the right ways for the coming, the coming climb into the climax of the story. So it did what it was supposed
Yeah.
to do. So I gave it 9. Memorable. Sometimes this one is just one of those I kind of forget about, quite frankly. Like I forgot that it fell in between remembrances, and I already forget what comes next after that. But it doesn't stick a whole lot. I would say literally like John Heater's role and Varric's spiel would be two of the things that stand out that really stick with me, and the rest just kind of feels like, I don't know, like it doesn't hang in my brain so well. So in a very literal way, it's not super memorable, but it's fine. That puts me at an 8.1, which just feels a smidge more harsh maybe than I would have guessed, but nothing crazy. That's an 8.3, or it rounded up to an 8.3 for both of us. And that is chapter 9, Beyond the Wilds, Book 4 Balance. Chris, final thoughts?
I'm just disappointed in myself that I still haven't thought of that third thing about Yang Chen.
Mm,
But anyway, enough. I added more things than three,
you
so
develop
whatever.
things. Well, I was really glad because I was trying to think of 3 things, and then we talked to whatever we talked about, and it became my number 3. And I was like, you know what? That's perfect. That's going to fill that slot. I needed that. Really looking forward to that. And I don't say that about books
Yeah.
ever, really.
I feel like July is a pretty quick turnaround too. Like this is
But Chris, you
three
at
months
one
away.
point way back when you had some kind of snippet that suggested this was possible, right? Because like this is the official announcement, but at
Yeah.
some point you had called out whether like rumors or something that this was, and that was like a year
Yeah.
ago probably. If I had to guess, I'd say it was
Oh,
like a year
was
ago.
it? Okay.
I don't know. What were you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I just appreciate that I don't have to get my hopes up too much. One thing, it's about Yang Chen, so like that's
Yeah,
exciting. They're like, oh,
he's
we're
a
doing a
huge
novel
weight.
about Roku. I'm like, okay. I just I feel like I'm being known as a Roku hater.
It's
I'll gladly
such a
read a novel
specific
about
thing.
Roku too. What about?
He can have one eventually. That's fine. I'd still read it. No, well, no, it's exciting either way. I'm not excited about books very often, but this one, obviously, very excited. And yeah, so I'm gonna guess somewhere in the ballpark of like a year ago, Chris had
Hmm,
found news or rumors or something that suggested a novel. Because it's not the first time that I've heard it. Like
yeah.
it was sort of familiar.
Okay.
Anyway, next week is con for us, so we'll either put a con video up or just some kind of short video and then a con video the week after that. It'll be a lot of fun. If you live in the Kansas City neighborhood, come to Comic Con on Saturday, Planet Comic Con in Bartle Hall.
Yeah, 6:30 is our panel for the Avatar trivia contest.
Yeah, come do that with us. It'll be great. And also, Chris, I know we're recording this in advance, so I'm like twisting your arm to it, but Chris should have a video out by now because it is.
I will.
You will. That's right. Because it is Easter Saturday, as I believe I referred to it a few weeks ago, which is a weird. I don't know. That rolls off the tongue wrong. Like it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching. This has been Avatar: The Last Podcasters. I'm Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter, and we'll see you next time. I don't know where I was going. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yes, may Ravas Light guide you.
May Ravas like
Let's dang it.
let Ravas like guide you.
Let
Good
Ravas
job.
Light guide you.
Ravas
Let
like
Ravas Light guide you.
guide you. Yeah. It sounds like the
Indeed.
corny exit to all of our podcasts from now on. That or sex, drugs, and murder. Throwback 2 episodes ago. Okay, see you later.